of economic development. And our purview is to help businesses to start and grow in the city of Los Angeles.
There's tons of fish in the sea, tons of different vendors, suppliers here in Los Angeles, and that's why it's such a great place to work.
For more info on Women's Entrepreneurship Day, visit womenseday.org. They're creepy and they're crawly, and for many of us, they can be a little bit scary. But for some people, spiders are beautiful and gentle creatures that are more scared of us than we are of them. Anna Marcos pays a visit to the Spider Pavilion at the Natural History Museum, and it's just in time as Halloween draws near.
To some, they are creepy, crawly things. To others, they are beauty in motion. The new Spider Pavilion that just opened at the Natural History Museum is crawling with 8-legged web weavers of all kinds, hundreds of them, and they are everywhere.
So could we be walking and a spider falls on top of us, one of these big giant spiders?
You never want to say never, but generally speaking, when people are coming in, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
They're really safe and comfortable in their webs. They're very secure. They're not dropping or falling on people.
It was really fascinating, much bigger than I thought they would be. And they really kind of are everywhere.
So what is it people tell you the reason that they're scared of spiders?
Mostly it's the legs.
Yes, all those many long, hairy legs, doing things. Val Hatcher, a guide at the Spider Pavilion and the museum, says these insects are things of beauty.
You're a spider lady?
I am a spider lady, yes.
Did you know that without these spiders, we humans might starve to death? According to our guide, the spiders eat all the bugs and insects that might otherwise gobble up our food.
The mist is here. We do want to make sure that our spiders have everything they need, both food and water.
To Hatcher, the 8-legged creatures are not just beautiful, they are artistic. They are clean, neat, and industrious. We saw many quite focused on their life's work, weaving all those webs. Oh, and they recycle too, often eating their tattered webs in order to rebuild them.
One's eating another spider.
Oh, it's eating?
Yeah.
That one's eating.
And these spiders can be bloodthirsty cannibals. Up, down, and all around, the creatures lurk, waiting to see who falls in their web. But no need to fear.
If something big and scary walks by them, their number one response is to run away and hide. So they want to get as far away from us as possible.
Yeah.
They are way more scared of us than we are of them.
It was fun, overwhelming. We were a little scared at first, but then we started to relax and started to see how cool they were.
Are you bigger fans now? No?
I'd still probably call my mom.
Some of the spiders on display include the barn spider, the garden orb weaver, as well as the spiny-backed and common orb weaver spiders. For more information, visit nhm.org and click on the Spider Pavilion. It was a celebration of all things Korean as the 46th Annual Korean Festival and Parade brought out hundreds of spectators to enjoy the colorful floats, performers, musicians, and cuisine.
We're here to enjoy the Korean culture and eating Korean food and spend time with our families.
I'm blessed this year. I've been selected to be the Grand Marshal. Everybody, let's celebrate this phenomenal festival in the Koreatown area.
It's a great day here. Koreatown Parade, even the rain couldn't keep us away.
I love it. I love that Los Angeles is a collection of different cultures. I think that's why it's such a popular city, because people from anywhere can come together.
It makes me feel so proud. Okay, it makes me think once again that the the color of the skin doesn't matter at all, especially when we live here in Los Angeles, right? It's the heart of La Corazón de Diversidad. It's the heart of diversity.
It's not every day that the contributions of the immigrant communities are recognized. That's why the city of LA paid a special tribute to a group of people who helped build LA into the city it is today.
Braceros were looked down upon. And then when they got here in the United States, there was a lot of racism. 95% of the people who work in California in agriculture are actually Mexican descent. So for me, the Braceros, now that the stigma has gone away, I think it's a good thing.
I feel happy that they're being recognized for all their hard work.
And especially in these times when from this administration, so many attacks, so many lies, so many criticisms of men and women today who work so hard for this economy, for this nation. It's especially important.
I couldn't be more proud to join you today in commemorating the service of so many immigrant communities. It was the immigrants of Mexico that helped build this city, that helped build this state, and helped build this United States of America.
¿Y dónde están los braceros?
Angelenos celebrate the Beatles' 50th anniversary of their iconic Abbey Road album. A new campaign is launched to help boost census participation, and officials hope a new high-tech crosswalk will cut down on accidents. All this in City Beat. Mayor Eric Garcetti has joined a new campaign to help boost the 2020 U.S. Census participation. Census Champions has been formed to commit to a fair and accurate count, as well as raising awareness on the local economic efforts.
California keeps giving money away to the rest of the country when we don't participate. So I want that money back. We made that money. We sent that money. We should get that money, participate in the census.
Councilmember David Rue, LA Department of Transportation GM Salida Reynolds, Office of LA County Supervisor Sheila Kuehl, and community leaders unveiled the Hawk Beacon, a high-intensity activated crosswalk on 6th Street between Fairfax and Curson Avenues. The new crosswalk and signal has been shown to reduce the rate of accidents.
This is the first, it's an exciting day because this is the first Hawk Beacon that we have in the city of Los Angeles, but this will not be our last.
Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell, Board of Public Works President Kevin James, and the legendary Sir Patrick Stewart joined together to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Beatles' iconic Abbey Road album. Officials also dedicated a crosswalk on Vine Street and unveiled a new City of LA sign at the Capitol Records Tower.
It's 50 years. It's one of their signature record companies where they recorded, and we're right in front, and we get to celebrate Abbey Road's 50th anniversary with a crosswalk in Hollywood. How much better does it get?
Jazz filled the air as some of the best musicians gathered for the 43rd annual Watts Towers Jazz Festival. The long-running event celebrates the culture and musical history of the iconic Watts neighborhood.
This is the 38th annual Watts Towers Day of the Drum Festival and the 43rd annual Simon Radill Watts Towers Jazz Festival. One of the things that we do is to ensure that our constituency have access to live musicians, no pre-recorded music.
I think to be able to keep it going constantly throughout the years, it's been great. People get together.
I mean, you look around at the community people here, they're all here enjoying it, taking in events. And what can you, I mean, it's free. You come in, you sit back, you get some live jazz. Yesterday they had the Drum Fest. Everybody playing drums. They love it. It's excellent for the community.
think what the festival is doing, it's giving the people a sense of belonging. It's saying that we care about you, we care about the people that are in Watts. We want to bring good things to the community, and we want people to embrace the goodness.
Young, old, that's what we're about. That's why we're here, so that people understand Watts is rich. It has something to give.
How do you get kids interested in exercise? Well, you make it fun, that's how. And one council member proves he's got the winning formula.
Are these kids up for the fitness challenge? Judging by their smiles, yes, they are.
I like the gymnastics. That's my favorite part because I love doing gymnastics. It's also fun being here with friends, having fun, laughing.
The good times taking place at Bellevue Recreation Center in Silver Lake, site of gymnastics, yoga, and other activities to get kids pumped over physical fitness. The challenge is hosted by City Councilman and former competitive gymnast Mitch O'Farrell.
When children feel good, they do better in school. When you exercise and eat nutritious meals, you have a better quality of life.
Around 100 fifth graders from local schools are taking part in this fitness challenge. Today's very special guest is Olympic swimmer and reality TV producer John Moffitt.
It was around the 5th grade when Moffitt discovered competitive swimming before making the 1980 and 1984 Olympic teams. Moffitt is also the Emmy-winning producer behind CBS's The Amazing Race.
Learning how to work out and learning to deal with the discomforts of being an athlete, it really carries on throughout your life. It teaches you how to deal with other people. It teaches you how to forge on through adversity and forge on when you don't win. And these are all super valuable lessons that all of us can take with us throughout the rest of our lives.
The Department of Rec and Parks, with its variety of youth programs, is proud to be a partner.
High rates of obesity in children and diabetes, and it's really something that we really need to focus on.
This is a really uplifting, positive day, and maybe this will be a source of inspiration to help someone to turn the corner to maybe set them in a nice, new, good direction.
Students from Alexandria, Fletcher Drive, Vine Street, and others all took part. Do you love comics, gaming, and sci-fi? Then you won't want to miss Comic-Con. No need to go to Italy to get a taste of an authentic piazza, and save the date for Indigenous Peoples Day. All this and things to do. LA Comic-Con is returning to Los Angeles for its 9th year. Tens of thousands of comics and graphic novel fans joined forces in a quest to experience one of the most diverse and celebrated pop culture events in the country. This event plays host to over 800 diverse artists and vendors selling comics, collectibles, art, apparel, and everything in between. Don't miss LA Comic-Con October 11th through the 13th at the LA Convention Center. For tickets, visit showclix.com. The Italian-American Museum of Los Angeles presents Taste of Italy, LA's premier Italian food and wine event. For one evening, the heart of historical downtown Los Angeles is transformed into a charming Italian piazza where guests can enjoy world-class wines and live entertainment. The Taste of Italy LA serves up deliciousness Saturday, October 12th, beginning at 5 p.m. Indigenous Peoples Day 2019 brings recognition and celebration to the city of Los Angeles. This year's theme will focus on the past, present, and future, with a call to action for our state and federal lawmakers to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Answer the call and show your love at Indigenous Peoples Day, Sunday, October 13th from 4 to 9 p.m. at Los Angeles City Hall and Graham Park. For more information, call Councilmember O'Farrell's district office at 213-473-7013. Don't miss it. And that's a look at some things to do. That's it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll see you next time for more of LA This Week.
Hey, buddy. You with the stupid hat. Come here. Closer. No parking! Do you know what happens when you park illegally on these narrow hillside streets? You block the street so emergency vehicles can't pass. Each year, homes are destroyed and lives are lost because of drivers like you who park illegally. And you know what else? You can get a citation. And you can be towed.
Help us get to the emergency. The life we save just might be yours.
How'd you know?
The ball called.
Hey, look out for the pothole.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Please take a seat. I want to welcome each and every one of you to City Hall, to this Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. The public is welcome. And again, thank you for coming. Madam Clerk, or Mr. Clerk, we do have a quorum. But before we start today's agenda, why don't we just take a moment of reflection on what's going on in our city with the fires, and pray that our firefighters and all of the other public safety personnel can bring this under control, and we can return to some sense of normalcy. That's one of the reasons why we're very thin member-wise. We have members that are in their districts trying to do what they can to keep the calm and to be of assistance. So before we start, why don't we just start with a moment of silence, a moment of reflection, and a moment of prayer. Thank you all. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Lee, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, and Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Harris Dawson moves. Mr. Weezer seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
O'Farrell moves. Martinez seconds. Next.
Mr. President, there are requests to continue items 3 through 7 and 20, again 3 through 7 and 20, to this next Tuesday, October 15th.
Okay, so ordered without objection. Continue.
Items 1 through 19 are items for which public hearings have been held. Committee reports for items 3, 4, and 5 have been posted and circulated for Council's consideration.
Okay, let's prepare. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate.
10 ayes.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes Council to presentations or general public comment for items not on Council's agenda.
I'm going to try to run through some of the general public comment. Gilbert Arvello, Mickey Jackson, Renee Moya, Lauren Natoli. Please come forward. Sergeants, if you could remove the cord. Yes, sir. Identify yourself and welcome.
Good morning. My name is Gilbert Arvello. I'm a retired construction management personnel. I have 45 years experience in construction. I was prompted to come and speak to you because I heard how much the units are costing and the project that the city has now under development, like $600,000 per unit, and their administrative costs are about 40%. I was invited by the city to get in a program for ADU for homeless, and I think that is the method that you should go. The private individual could get something done like that on a ADU for about $20,000. It takes about 2 months probably to construct the thing, and this is the way that I believe the city should be going whole hog and getting these ADUs, getting people to agree to have an ADU on their property, and it would be able to provide housing very, very quickly within like I say, from the start to finish. It can be plan check over the counter and a permit issued very quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please identify yourself and welcome.
Good morning. My name is Renee Moya. I'm with Housing is a Human Right, part of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. We're here today to call for emergency action to be taken to prevent a lot of retaliatory evictions that we're seeing across Los Angeles in the wake of the passage of State Bill AB 1482. In the last 24 hours, I myself have seen about 5 different buildings receiving retaliatory eviction notices totaling about 200 units, actually. A couple of these notices have explicitly mentioned AB 1482 as a reason why they are evicting tenants. And again, these range across different parts of the valley, Highland Park, Eagle Rock, as well as South Los Angeles. And so we're here to urge the council to take emergency action as quickly as possible, to institute some form of a moratorium from here until the bill takes effect on January 1st, 2020. We think this is very, very urgent to prevent thousands of people literally becoming homeless in the next couple of months. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next. And then if I could also get Jacqueline Richardson, Rob Quine, Eric Previn, please, if I call your name, stand in line. We're going to try to get to all of the public comment today, but we're having quorum issues, so please.
Mickey Jackson, Housing and AHF, with Housing is a Human Right. The problem that Renee just spoke about is one that some of us who had a lot of misgivings about 1482 not being strong enough and not protecting enough, and I think the enthusiasm with which many of the real estate industry greeted it tells us that, is very severe. We have enough homelessness. If we allow people evicted en masse, it's going to be even more terrible. We also need to declare a moratorium on people raising rent until this comes into effect. The rent increases. People are using this as an excuse to do something they wanted to do anyway, which is profiteer. And that is reprehensible, and I think this is incumbent upon this council to protect the residents of this city from the runaway greed.
Thank you. Next speaker, please identify yourself.
Good morning. I'm Lauren Natoli from AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And I want to echo the same things that the previous two speakers, Renee Moya and Mickey Jackson, have said. It is unfair to have people being evicted like this, and it is happening way too quickly. It is completely unfair. It is exacerbating our homeless problem. If it seems bad now, it is going to get worse. As of August 5th, 2019, Los Angeles County has nearly 59,000 people experiencing homelessness, which was a 12% increase from 2018. Los Angeles City alone has over 36,000 people experiencing homelessness. The previous number was for the county, which is a stark increase of 16% from 2018 to 2019. Those numbers are just going to keep getting worse if we allow landlords to just evict people without just cause. Thank you.
Morning. I want to talk about a proposal to start a public bank. I personally have a concern that it's going to be a cash cow for developers and special interests. Cite David Schwartzman from Heritage Development Group, who's given $40,000 to candidates in the city of LA and gave $7,500 to Measure B. He said he wants to turn Inglewood into the next Playa Vista. I repeat, turn Inglewood into the next Playa Vista. I think it's really important that that proposal gets its stuff together to ensure protections, checks, and balances. I think it's important that we pass lobbying restrictions that have been sitting in front of this council for 2 years and actually address dark money in our political system. I think we can look at DWP and see the struggle of a city of this size taking on a task that big. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, Ms. Richardson. And then after Mr. Previn, let's get Corey Smith, Jill Johnston. Yes.
This concerns housing downtown Los Angeles. Some of these places, apartment buildings, hotels, have government-supported housing. Some of the people that live in these government-supported housing live in more than one place. They live in the government-supported housing maybe 3 days a month, and other places the other 27 days. I would estimate, but don't know, it fluctuates. I don't know because I can't see it all the time. I'm assuming that it's about 10% of the population of whatever that building is. That means if they're living in this place 3 days a month, then they live in some other place another 27 days a month. That means there's less room for other people that could also use that apartment unit.
Thank you. And Bravna Shamasunda Andu, Martha Arguello. Deanna Castellanos. Yes, Mr. Previn.
Thank you, sir. It's Eric Previn from Studio City, and my heart goes out to the folks fighting the fires today. Today you have 20 items on the agenda, but none of them are open to public comment. That is absurd, sir, just on its face. These are issues that people care about in our community. And you put us in the general public comment, and we can criticize what you're doing. But item 12, I just want to say, is we're jacking up the price in O'Farrell's district, but we're doing something similar in Studio City from, I believe, $10 million to $19 million for a modern gym that's going to be net zero. Net zero is great, but when you put big structures in fields and places where people have limited open space, it's a terrible, terrible strategy. Now, I don't know the details of Mr. O'Farrell's district, but I know they're using Studio City where the people are completely uninformed, hashtag grand jury. And finally, I just want to say it is a shame, Mr. Koretz, on today that you will not stand up and confess that nobody knows anything, Peter Sanders, Mayor Garcetti, Lady Emrod, or Catherine Barger, about what started the origin of the Skirball fire. And yet today you've allowed this horrible...
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Corey Schmidt for the record. Okay, so I was going to say some nice stuff today. I was in a good mood, but I see that we're dealing with some fires now. So as you can see, there's some changes going on with the zone. And I want to talk about this fire stuff because, you know, this motherfucker over here keeps pushing for this 5G bullshit. And I apologize for the kids that got to hear this, but this has to be said. I'm tired of hearing about these fires. You know what's causing it. It's right down the street from this guy's district. So can we get a grip on this 5G stuff and put some protections out there, or are we just going to keep letting this go? You know, I am speaking out about this. You know it's true because I spoke out about it on Tuesday. If you saw it on Tuesday, someone broke into my car, stole all my shit out of my car. You know, all my evidence and all my stuff for my case. So there's some problems going on, and you guys need to wake up.
Next speaker, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Jill Johnston. I'm an assistant professor of preventive medicine at the University of Southern California. And I'm here today on behalf of Children's Environmental Health Day and also to draw the attention of the City Council to a recent analysis and letter produced by 15 scientists and doctors regarding potential health impacts from oil drilling that happens near people. So the recently released city's report doesn't account for all the existing scientific evidence that's available. And so we've outlined a lot of this evidence in a letter that I'm hoping we can present to you today. And so this suggests that there's harm between 1/2 and 3 miles for residents that live near urban oil drilling sites. And we know that many communities here in Los Angeles Basin are home to vulnerable populations who also may face cumulative burden. And so as fossil fuel extraction is really driving the climate crisis, and we know that disproportionately harms kids. So as we consider Children's Environmental Health Day, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name is Diana Castellanos, and I'm one of the tenants that is having their rent increased. As of April, our rent increased by 100%. And now, for November, it's another about 70 or 80% of increase. So we're going from $800 to $1,500 to now $2,400, which is impossible for us to do. And we're asking for an emergency moratorium because of the bill that just passed, because they're trying to do this before November, before that January bill passes or takes effect. So we're asking for help because there's no way that we can pay these prices. It's insane what these companies are trying to do to us. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, and Martha, before you start, if I could get Jabari, and then Sergio Vargas, Elena Pop, and Lynn Moses. Yes, back to you.
Good morning. My name is Marta Dinarguay. I'm the Executive Director of Physicians for Social Responsibility, and today we're here to commemorate Children's Environmental Health Day and to call on the Council to understand that children are not little adults. Their systems are developing. Their exposure to environmental toxins, whether that's from oil drilling or diesel, because we're not moving to zero emissions quickly enough, All of those impact children more than they do others. We need to have public policies that take into account their special vulnerabilities and begin, one, to stop drilling where people are living, especially near schools and where children are developing, and also move to zero emissions quicker. We need you to take bold action, and we need you to take preventive action to protect children's health. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, and I called Lynn Moses, Jabari, and Sergio Vargas, Elena Pop. Please come in line because I don't know how much public comment I'm going to do, so if you want to speak. Yes,
so,
sir.
Hi, hello. My name is
yourself.
Sergio Vargas. I'm an organizer with ACE. I'm organizing this one building where there's fixed income tenants, Section 8, and also a veteran that is, they're being all kicked out by these rent increases. They went from $800 to $1,500. Now it's $2,300 that they gotta pay. So I'm asking you guys to put a moratorium, a rent freeze on these buildings, so when AB 1482 kicks in, they'll actually be protected. You know, we talk about the housing crisis that we're in right now. This is the opportunity for you guys to actually protect these tenants. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm here to represent my community because my community is not represented. The black community is not represented by Mr. Wesson or Mr. Dawson at all. Everybody's here talking about the homeless issue and rents. The last thing you people want to do, you council people, hey, pay attention. I'm talking to you people. You're not listening to the public. The last thing you want to do is end homelessness because there's so much money, billions of dollars, $700,000 a unit. I can build a home, an ADU for $20,000. Dawson is putting people on the street with his Dorset Village project right down the street from the Afiba Center, he's trying to evict black people from. 206 units to raise up, that's about 1,000.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please. Thank you. Your time has expired, Mr. Moses. Thanks. Next speaker. And again, Elena Pop, Molly Bell, Abel Gonzalez. Yes, sir.
My name is Jabari Jamani, firefighter with the City of Los Angeles. I'm here once again to speak on behalf of the people who speak up for the Afiba Center. We've been served an eviction notice by Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson. Last Thursday, we entered into what was called a negotiation to extend our license to be in the building, which we've been in for 20 years. Proudly servicing our community. That negotiation was a sham, laced with a lack of sincerity and individuals who had no intention of approaching this from an honest standpoint. We look forward to the next negotiation. We have one coming up. Hopefully this one will be a little more transparent and met with sincerity for actually serving the constituents of this community who have served this city well. I look forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So next speaker, Abel Gonzalez, Martha Sanchez, Olga Ford. Please, if I call you, please come on up. Did I call your name, ma'am?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. You called my name Molly Bell and somebody else?
Yeah, well then you're next. Come on.
No, it was another person before me.
Just identify yourself and go ahead.
All right. My name is Molly Bell, and I'm straight out of Compton. Reparations in memory of our ancestors. What I've come here today is to ask the City Council, especially Marquise Harris Dawson, whom I just see as chair, and yourself also, Herb Wesson, Price, and different ones to stand with us as we save the Afiba Center. We keep it there under the leadership of Jabari. We're asking you that you come to a swift negotiation because we need to get this done and we need to get it done as soon as possible. And the best part about it is once you do it, we all win. We all win. Whatever happens for this community is a great thing to happen for our community, and we want to win. We want it right. I close by saying, all you prayer warriors out there, know what you've got to do. Keep fasting, keep praying, because the struggle continues always. To God be the glory. Thank you.
Thank you. Next set of speakers, please come forward. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Olga Ford, and I'm here asking for help on my building because they give us that they want to raise our rent constantly from $137 to $14.95, and from that they give us an increase again for rent for $2,000 something, and I'm disabled. I am on a fixed income, and it's hard for me to pay that rent. And I looking for place, but I can't find none, and it's so hard for me, you know. And I called, but there is no answer from the people you call. So I don't know where will I go if they evict me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Abel González, yo pertenezco a la All right. Okay.
Do we have Carolyn Connor? If you can come up, I'm really trying to get to as many people as I can, and Amy Schnur.
Ok, buenos días, mi nombre es Abel González, soy miembro de la organización Alianza de Californianos para el Poder de la Comunidad.
Good morning, my name is Abel Gonzalez. I'm a member of the ACE organization here in Southern California.
Y estoy aquí para pedirles que hagan una moratoria para evitar que más familias sean desplazadas sin una causa justa.
And I'm here to ask that you have a moratorium so that you can keep families from being displaced without any cause.
Después de que muchos dueños o corporaciones escucharon de que se había pasado la AB 1482, empezaron a dar más notificaciones de desalojos a personas, ha incrementado drásticamente.
After many owners and companies found out that the AB 1482 was approved, many of them started to increase their eviction notices as well as rent.
Entonces le pido que por favor con sentido de urgencia necesitamos parar todo este tipo de abusos.
So I want to ask you with a sense of urgency to please stop this kind of abuse.
Porque queremos mantener a nuestras familias en nuestras comunidades y que sean comunidades también seguras.
We want to keep our families in our communities and also have safe communities.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Identify yourself.
Good morning. My name is Marta Sanchez. I'm a community organizer with the community group ACE. I'm an education organizer, and I'm here to request you to take an urgent action to protect tenants. Last night, we have a tenant clinic, and we have an unprecedented number of people coming for help. We used to have 16 or 20 families. Last night we had over 60 families requesting support, and it was very urgent for them. They were crying. Kids were really scared because they were requested to leave the property. And it is going to be a negative impact in schools as well, because they have to move out of the neighborhood where they receive services for special education students. And when they don't have resources, they don't have hope, they don't have support. So this is going to be a crisis bigger than we have right now. I urge you to take an action, and I urge you to pay special consideration to the elder. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please identify yourself.
Good morning. My name is Carolyn Connor, and I'm here again to speak on behalf of the Afiba Center. I am a retired probation officer, LA County Probation, 34 years, as well as a former resident from Compton. I go to the Afiba Center because it's the only cultural center anywhere around that speaks to some of the issues of black people. Every other ethnic group has representation. We don't, and for some reason I don't understand, because Marquis says that they're going to make some changes and everything will remain the same, except for they don't want Jabari there. Jabari has done an excellent job. He's a firefighter himself, and the place is impeccable and secure, et cetera, et cetera. And we have a lot of meetings there, and I come all the way from Carson to the Afiba Center to share in with the program that they have. So it can be handled very quickly. We don't have to keep coming here every meeting if we would just solve this matter and keep the Afiba Center open under its present leadership. Thank you.
Okay, next. Please identify yourself.
Good morning. Amy Shore. I'm the campaign director statewide with the community group ACE. We and I were at the table working on AB 1482 that was just signed into law on Tuesday. It goes into effect January. It does two things. It caps annual rent increases at CPI plus 5, which is less than 10% right now. And it establishes just cause for eviction statewide after a year of tenancy on many units. As you're hearing, and as you know, unscrupulous landlords are trying to get in under this law. We have, at the state level anyway, seemed to have gotten some consensus among our elected officials that the urgency of this crisis means that they needed to act, and that CPI plus 5, if you need to go over that, you're an unscrupulous bad landlord. The California Apartment Association took off their objection to this bill, and it was a broad coalition including builders. We need...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next speaker, and your name, sir?
Praise the Lord. Good morning to everyone in the council. I am Hosanna Jesse Oliver Gray.
Okay, so now I'm going to let you speak, but if I don't call your name, until I call your name, don't get in line. But you're here, so I'm going to let you speak. Go on.
To all of you that can hear my voice.
Sir, I'm going to let you speak to behind him.
To all of you who are listening to my voice, if you would take down my telephone number, since I'm only going to get a minute to talk. My telephone number is 213-265-5249. 213-265-5249. I've got some very good news about complaints that can be federalized and congressionalized through Adam Schiff. I'm a constituent of Adam Schiff, and even though Adam Schiff is dealing with the impeachment hearings of Donald Trump, he's still in a position to make it possible for things to happen in a divine order way as far as your complaints for city council are concerned. I'm going to step back away from the microphone, but if anyone would allow me to speak to them after I step back, I can let you know how your complaint can be truly respected, quick, fast, and in a hurry before Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
Schiff
sir.
Is the man.
Okay. Yes, sir. Behind you, if you'd please identify yourself. Yes, sir.
My name is Michael Hale. I'm here on for the Afiba Center. I thought the homeless situation was a disaster, but this eviction coming up is going to be a disaster for the city. I don't know if you're ready for that, but I feel that I believe in the 3 R's. No representation, no respect. It's time for recall. Now, if you're not going to do the job, it's time for recall. Because you have these compact studies that you do. You know what's going to happen 20 years from now. So you knew this was coming, and you're not ready for it now. So what are you going to do now? So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. City Attorney, I'm going to put a hold on public comment for a while so we can go into the presentation portion of our agenda. But technically, I believe we have satisfied it, but I'm going to try to get back to it. So with that, I'd like to recognize Ms. Martinez for our first presentation of the day. Ms. Martinez, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're just trying to get situated. Good morning, colleagues. Today, I have the honor to speak about an issue that I'm incredibly passionate about, and some of our members on this council can share the same passion as well, and that is environmental justice. But specifically today, I want to talk about environmental justice for children. Today is Children's Environmental Justice Health Day. Children's Environmental Health Day is being recognized by cities across our nation to demonstrate our collective desires to safeguard our children's health. We all know as parents, we do everything in our power to protect our children and keep them healthy. But sometimes keeping them healthy is out of our hands. And oftentimes, how healthy can they be when they're being exposed to harmful environmental impacts really depends on where our children live. Growing up in the Northeast San Fernando Valley, I can tell you by personal experience the impacts firsthand of decades of poor environmental planning in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. I know what it's like to live in front of a landfill, across the street from auto dismantlers and generating power stations, diesel trucks plowing through our neighborhoods, and contaminated aquifers and pollution. Now I represent children and families who face some of the same environmental health challenges. Here in Los Angeles, our struggle with this is not unique to the Northeast San Fernando Valley, but communities like Boyle Heights, South LA, Wilmington are also familiar with this issue. What is unique about these communities, and the studies and the mapping will confirm this, is the poor communities of color they're always the ones who bear the burden of exposure to harmful environmental impacts. And children like the ones in these communities that I represent will continue to bear the disproportionate impact of climate change into the future unless we continue to push back and address these harmful impacts now. I am proud to chair the Energy and Climate Change and Environmental Justice Committee, as well as authoring the legislation with many of my colleagues here today to create a Green New Deal for Los Angeles. And for me, the Green New Deal first and foremost should prioritize environmental justice communities that are considered frontline communities, and what that really means is black and brown communities, black and brown children who have been forced to breathe bad air and live in contaminated soil for decades. And when our federal government reverses sound environmental laws designated to beat back some of these environmental regulations, what that really means is that you're really trying to let communities of color know that they do not matter. But let's be clear, who bears the brunt of those decisions the most? Frontline communities, and no one more than children who are living in these neighborhoods. And so today, I'm really proud to recognize Children's Environmental Health Day. And we are here to reaffirm the city's commitment to our children in addressing environmental injustice and responding to climate change and transitioning into a healthy, sustainable, and just economy that does not leave anyone behind. So let's do everything we can to make sure that we leave our children in a better city than the one that they currently live in today. I am proud to recognize Esperanza Hinojosa, who is a mother and a resident of Wilmington, to say a few words. Please give her a round of applause.
Buenos días, miembros del concilio. Mi nombre es Esperanza Hinojosa. Vengo de la comunidad de Wilmington, California.
Good morning, council members. My name is Esperanza Hinojosa. I am from Wilmington, California.
En este día vengo como madre y miembro activo de mi comunidad a proponerles, porque estoy preocupada sobre los impactos de la contaminación de las refinerías.
Today I'm here as a mother and as a concerned member of my community to bring to your attention the impacts of the refinery in my community.
Sobre los impactos que tiene la contaminación sobre nuestros niños, sobre mis hijos y sobre los niños de la comunidad.
The impacts that this carry out on my children, on the community, and the children of the community as well.
También yo misma he podido ver alrededor de mi comunidad los niños enfermos con asma, con algunas enfermedades de las vías respiratorias y los pulmones.
I've also been able to witness the children that are affected by asthma as well as other respiratory conditions in their lungs.
Estoy aquí como voz de mi familia y como voz de mi comunidad. Para ustedes tal vez soy una persona más, pero muchas vidas están en sus manos por las decisiones que ustedes toman.
I am here as the voice of my community and my family, and perhaps I'm only another person here talking to you today, but I can tell you that I'm here to express this as well as a parent in the community.
Les agradezco su invitación y les agradezco que me hayan escuchado en este día. Agradezco a Nuri Martínez por la invitación y a todos ustedes. Muchas gracias. Que tengan buen día.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to thank Ms. Nuri Martinez as well for letting me speak to you today. Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you very much. I'd also like to introduce Dr. Gilberto Granados, who's a doctor of family medicine at UCLA Harbor Hospital and a professor at UCLA Geffen School of Medicine, to say a few words. Doctor?
As a doctor of family medicine, working in Wilmington for the last 20 years and also in Harbor City, I see the impacts of children's exposure to toxic air, water, and soil in our children, including asthma and other dermatitises. Children are our most precious asset and one of our most vulnerable populations, given the impact of toxic exposure to children's development, including lung development. It is not lost in me or many of my colleagues that so many of these symptoms are seen disproportionately in children of low-income families of color, many of whom are immigrant families. We know there are many steps needed to be taken to improve the quality of the environment for these families and children to reduce toxic exposure. Addressing the presence of dirty industries in close proximity to their homes is certainly one of them. The kind of toxic industries most of us would choose not to live by if we had the choice. I'm proud to be here today with Physicians for Social Responsibility Los Angeles and other children health advocacy groups, and applaud the leadership of Council Member Nuri Martinez to the Council for highlighting today Children's Environmental Health Day. I urge our city's leaders to continue using all their policy tools at their disposal to reduce the toxic exposure and advance environmental justice and protect our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Granados. Thank you very much. And colleagues, this is a critical time where we must safeguard the health of and safety and well-being of our children. So I'd like to recognize October 11th as Children Environmental Health Day. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to recognize Mr. Cedillo. There he is, Mr. Cedillo. Yes, Mr. Cedillo.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge an incredible group of young people. They are the Wes Adams Fire Academy, and I think nothing is more evident and more poignant this morning than to honor and acknowledge a group of young men and women, young boys and girls, who are committing themselves to one of the most important endeavors that will take place in our community in the upcoming years. Yes, give them an applause.
Welcome.
Yes. We've seen in the last 24 hours the incredible need that is created, interrelated to our concerns around our environment, the need for this workforce in the future. And so these young men and women, these young boys and girls have committed themselves. I want to acknowledge their site coordinator, Michael Ovidio, and also their principal, Eric Nava, who are both present. Where are they? These academies are located in my district in the underserved community of the Pico Union area. Their presence exposes our young people to the culture and lifestyle of firefighting and law enforcement. These will be our future first responders, and we wanted to take a moment this morning to thank them for their commitment, for their courage, and for their desire to serve our community in the future. Thank you, young men and women.
Thank you, Mr. Cedillo. Mr. Kretz. Thank you, Mr. President and members. I'm really excited about this group that I'm going to present you today. I'm going to try to keep my remarks brief because I'd like to have a couple of them speak for about a minute. The organization standing beside me and behind me is the Swipe Out Hunger organization. Can we give them a round of applause? And just let me quickly say that this is really, really cool. All of us have read the studies, and we know that there's an increase in homelessness on our college campuses. And there have been studies throughout this country that indicate, like in the city of New York, that 40% of the students that go to college there face what they call food insecurity, that 25% of the students that go to college here in California, 25% of them skip meals in order to save money. And I know that when I went to school, things were a little different. You had a student ID. You would go to the cafeteria. You got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But now they have what they call meal plans, and you purchase different levels of meal plans. And the way that works is at the end of your semester or the end of the quarter, if you have meals that are left on that plan, you cannot roll those meals into your next semester, so you just lose them. So the organization behind me, founded by Rachel Sumek, who I will introduce you to in a minute, came up with the idea of donating extra meals on their meal plan to students that needed it. This started on UCLA's campus, and again, I'm sorry to our members here that are USC affiliated, but this did start on the UCLA campus. It's my understanding up to this point that it has grown to over 80 universities, and the people behind me are responsible for offering or providing over 2 million meals to those that were in need, just by a bunch of young people that wanted to do something good, wanted to help, coming up with a very creative way in which to help fellow students. Now, Rachel here has been honored by the Obama White House, and I don't know, I can't remember, was it the New Yorker magazine? She was listed in Forbes as one of the 30 under 30. So, I mean, she's a very powerful leader of not tomorrow, a leader of today. And I really wanted to bring them forward to introduce them to you because I anticipate many more and creative ways to help people that this organization will provide. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rachel Sumek to the stage here. Not the stage, the podium. Rachel.
Thank you. That was a very beautiful and generous introduction, Councilmember Wesson. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, if it's still morning. The theologist Walter Brueggemann says that young people come of age with two things, something called prophetic imagination, which means that they can see the world and how broken it is with an eye of criticality, and simultaneously they have the capacity to have hope. It's the combination of a critical eye and a hopeful heart, which is why we see so many young people at the forefront of our social movements. It's this tension that my friends Brian and Tak and Rustam and so many others and myself lobbied our campus at UCLA 9 years ago to let us do exactly what Councilmember Wesson described, which is share our meal swipes with our friends who are hungry. Because if you know you have students on your campus, we knew that UCLA had 1 in 4 students who were going hungry, who were going to class with grumbling stomachs, who were skipping study group because the later they stayed up, the hungrier they got. If we knew that problem was on our campuses, and we simultaneously had these beacons of amazing food in our dining halls, why didn't we have the willpower to find a way to finance our program to make sure everyone can have access to that amazing food? Now, tens of thousands of students have shared their meal swipes and started the same movement that we started at UCLA. USC was actually our second site, so fight on, as well as Go Bruins. We can represent everyone today. And we've been able to grow this to 85 campuses in 32 states, and I would be remiss to stand on this podium today, and it's truly an honor to be recognized by the City Council, and not also invite the LACCD on the stage. They've been huge champions of this issue for our 9 community colleges, and with that I want to invite Michael Fuller to share a few words.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I represent Los Angeles Community College District. We have 9 colleges, and we serve nearly 250,000 students. And in speaking to what Councilmember Wesson just described, 62% of our students face food insecurity. That's compared with a 13% for households nationwide. So you can see that we serve a really high population of students who really have lots of needs. I wanted to just bring up something really quickly that came across my desk this week. I also run the foundation for the Los Angeles Community Colleges, which is a nonprofit. I have an application for a student who applied for student aid. She says, I changed the name to respect the identity of the student. Hello, my name is Christine. I'm in need of financial assistance. This is my first semester as a nursing student. Currently, I do not have a home. So I'm going to read, unfortunately, I'm not able to afford rent. I'm not necessarily homeless because I do have friends I stay with on a rotational basis. I do work, but I'm using that money to pay for bills, including car insurance, rent, gas, food, and my debts. The rent I pay is a small amount, but I'm not necessarily living in one place. However, I need to find a place to stay, and I can't do it without financial assistance. I can keep my clothing, my food, and my car, but it can't stay there for a long time. I've been on my own and supporting myself since I was 18 years old. So I just wanted to read that little part of the application from a student to demonstrate what our students are going through. But imagine that student 2 years from now walking across the stage and getting her nursing degree. That will change a life forever. So I want to thank you for having me here. This is a need we are trying to fulfill across our campuses. Our trustees, our administration, our faculty and staff are all working on this, and we are fortunate to have support from donors such as Ralph's and Food for Less, who are giving $100,000, but that doesn't go very far with such a large population of students. So I appreciate you hearing this, understanding the stories of community college students, because it's a very important rung on the ladder to help students succeed in life. Thank you.
Thank you.
When my parents immigrated here from Iran, fleeing religious persecution, they landed in the San Fernando Valley, and it was programs like CalFresh that gave them the peace of mind to know their kids had access to food as they achieved the American dream. They never expected that their daughter would be the first person to write a piece of legislation in 2017 known as the Hunger-Free Campus Bill, which has now sent over $20 million to our college campuses in California to fund basic needs programs on our college campuses. Yesterday, we announced a major corporate partnership with Aramark, so demonstrating that even our businesses are stepping up. Whether it's our policymakers, our businesses, our nonprofits, what I want to reiterate today is that unless we have student voices at the front of this movement, which our movement really is built off of, we won't be able to design programs that meet today's students' needs, nor will we move with the urgency that they remind us we need to be moving with every day. Again, it's an honor to be here with our team and all of our supporters and to be recognized today. Thank you again, Councilmember Wesson.
Mr. Wesson, we have a couple speakers on the queue before you present your certificate. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. President. And first of all, I want to congratulate you and thank you for an incredible program. And as I was listening to the presentation, it reminded me of two things. One is that studies have shown that for low-income students and students of color, when they drop out of universities, it's not the academics why they drop out. It's just finding a place to stay. It's financial, other circumstances that allow them to focus on their studies. And it's programs like this that make it easier for them to navigate the university life. So thank you so much. And secondly, it reminded me that in a city such as ours, we have tremendous wealth, yet we have people sleeping on the streets. We have haves and have-nots. People like you can make a difference and do things like this to help connect the dots between the haves and have-nots. Thank you so much. Congratulations. You're doing an incredible job.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer.
And I've had the incredible honor to have worked with this organization from its inception. And it's hard to believe that it's gone from the very modest beginnings to being at universities and colleges all over the country and multiple states. But the very first time they did a drive in their first quarter, it was an organization designed to help homeless UCLA students be able to find meals. And they did a food drive, and they were too successful. So they found they suddenly had thousands of pounds of food and no place for them. So not really knowing what we were getting into, we offered in my district office to take all of the excess food, and we found we had offices that were completely filled with pallets of food, dozens and dozens of them, which was really incredible.
We have photos.
Actually, I didn't know that, but that would be very adorable to see. But it's been around 10 years. My daughter was still going to school then. I think she was the one that originally connected me with it. But from those very humble beginnings, this is the most remarkable program. And now we have some governments that are providing funding, and we're finally willing to recognize that we don't need to hide from the fact that we have homeless students and that we have food insecure students. We need to address this and to help them. And so thank you all for everything that you've done over these years and the amazing strides that you've made.
All right, with that said, let's give another round of applause for Swipe Out Hunger. Let's get close.
Mr. Koretz, are you ready for your presentation, sir?
Colleagues, it gives me great pleasure to recognize a terrific nonprofit organization that uses improv and laughter to help build confidence and connections. The Groundlings are not just special to me because they're in my district, which they are. They're in the heart of Melrose, and they now have expanded over 45 years from one building to two. And on any given night of the week, a line of excited theater goers gathers for a night of laughter, audience participation, and a chance to see future comedy superstars. It's also a special night for me because it's almost 35 years to the day since my second date with my wife Gail at the Groundlings Theater. And I believe a night of laughter solidified that relationship, and we've been inseparable ever since. So I have a lot of gratitude for them and for them having supplied the city of Los Angeles and beyond with many decades of laughter. Since 1974, the Groundlings Theater and School has been the foremost comedy training ground in Hollywood and the springboard for countless careers, including comic geniuses from film and television, such as Melissa McCarthy, Will Ferrell, Maya Rudolph, and Kristen Wiig, among others. You can catch current Groundlings and recent alumni on shows and films such as Saturday Night Live, Mikey Day, Heidi Gardner, and Chloe Fineman, The Righteous Gemstones, Edie Patterson and Tony Cavaliero, Community, Jim Rash, and Brittany Runs a Marathon, Jillian Bell and Michaela Watkins, just to name a few. Please turn your attention to the big screens. We have a short video.
The Groundlings are the legendary Los Angeles-based comedy troupe responsible for launching some of the entertainment world's biggest stars.
Among my greatest comedy heroes on this earth, they're all people from the Groundlings.
It really was the perfect comedy boot camp.
It's filled with really funny, talented people.
There are Groundlings in every facet of show business.
Now, I want to take a minute to point out some of the current Groundlings who are with us, and maybe they can each give a wave when I mention their names. Lauren Burns. Ariana Price. Laird McIntosh. And Lyric Lewis, star of NBC's AP Bio. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a true comedy legend. We have with us an original, not ready for prime time player from the original Saturday Night Live cast. She played so many memorable roles, and probably my favorite one was as the daughter of the Coneheads. As those of you who are too young won't even know what I'm talking about. But she had a lifetime of roles, including numerous voiceovers, and a lot of it came from her start as a founding member of the Groundlings. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Lorraine Newman.
Thank you so much. I am a native of Los Angeles. Actually, my dad was born here in 1916. So this is my hometown, and it's especially gratifying for me to speak on behalf of the Groundlings. Starting out as just an improv workshop, I don't think any of us ever considered the longevity that we would enjoy. We never imagined that the Groundlings would represent Los Angeles, and yet have a reach farther than that. Producing writers, actors, directors, talk show hosts, Emmy Award winners, and even Academy Award winners. I'm so proud of what the Groundlings has achieved. I'm especially proud that our level of excellence has made us the home team for Saturday Night Live. You can always tell when a Groundling is in the cast because their sketches are wildly original and character-driven, And for me, I think that that offers a richly authentic form of humor. On behalf of the Groundlings, I want to thank you so much for this incredible honor.
I guess it's ironic that I'm doing this because I have no sense of humor, but and Mr. Cedillo agrees. Now it's my honor and privilege to present this certificate to the Groundlings on the occasion of their 45th anniversary, and we hope for at least another 45 years of incredible laughter and talent. That's all the council members on. They're all there.
Mr. Sachs, please stop disrupting the meeting.
Okay, Mr. O'Farrell, are you ready for your presentation, sir? Okay, Mr. Clerk, let's go ahead and take up some more public comment cards. Nancy Villanueva, are you here? Nancy Villanueva, general public comment. How about Lupita? Is Lupita here? Hilda Guzman? Hilda Guzman is not here. Arnold Sachs, you want to come on up? I'm calling you for general public comment. Mr. Sachs, this is only general public comment.
Yes. So I went to a Board of Public Works and I showed them today's headline in the LA Times. And I pointed out it says a wide disparity in LAPD searches. But I just said, you know what? You don't need to put the LAPD in searches in here. You just need to have a wide disparity in LA between the haves and the have-nots, between the homeless and the people that have houses, between the city council members who are making grips of money. They made a ton of money in marijuana. They made a ton of money in the foreclosure program. They're always first in line to get money for anything that comes up. But in order to help the public, oh, sorry, you only have 1 minute. So congratulations to Herb Wesson on his ability to pass one motion in the city council chambers in the 12 years or the 16 years he's been here and have it voted on twice, and that was to limit public comment on the agenda. That's a real...
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Time is up. The next speaker, Mr. Sachs, your time is up. The next speaker is Ton McCampbell. Are you here? Ton McCampbell. Followed by Joshua Smith. Is Joshua Smith here? Come on up. Betterman Stumps, are you here? Anybody with that name? Carla de la Paz? Carla? It's not here. Corey, can you come on up, please? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my name is Tom McCampbell, and I'd just like to say I would love that the FIBA Center is allowed to continue. It's been a great pillar in our community, and I think what's been happening right now is very unfair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are you Joshua Smith? Carla de la Paz, she's behind you? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, council members. My name is Joshua Smith. I'm the Communications Director for Housing as a Human Right here in Los Angeles. Council members, it's no secret that landlords across the city and the state are attempting to enact mass evictions, apartment buildings with as many as 50, 60 more families, and exorbitant rent hikes on their tenants in retaliation against the new anti-rent gouging bill, AB 1482. scheduled to take effect in January. This troubling response to a humanitarian crisis only underlines that predatory landlords are out of control in Los Angeles and California at large. They must be reined in, and we must protect tenants with real rent control. Now, please, please, please pass a moratorium on rent hikes and mass evictions immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Hello, my name is Carla De Paz. I'm the Director of Community Organizing for the East LA Community Corporation. I'm here like many of my colleagues because we're seeing tenants walking into our office already every day talking about receiving 60-day notices, telling us about rent increases in the hundreds, $500, $600 that they're already getting. So we're here to ask you to also pass an emergency moratorium on no-fault evictions. It's my understanding that Councilmember O'Farrell and Councilmember Price are hoping to do something today, and we're here to support that. We're very thankful for that because it's something that needs to happen now. And we're also asking for an expansion of just cause protections to all units permanently because tenants across the city are going to continue to suffer this harassment, suffer these rent increases, and we really need to address this. We're asking y'all to take a really serious look at what's happening with tenants. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hold general public comment so we can get to Mr. O'Farrell's presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, we have a wonderful celebration to end the presentations with on this day, and I want to say welcome everyone, mabuhay, because October is Filipino American History Month. So today, Councilmember Jose Huizar and I recognize the pioneering contributions of the Filipino American community here in Los Angeles. I'm particularly proud to be here today as the representative of historic Filipino Town, a neighborhood that has been home to Filipinos since at least the 1940s and served as a gateway for many Filipino immigrants in Los Angeles and continues to do so to this day. We have so many projects going in historic Filipino Town right now, focusing specifically on making the pedestrian experience safer with street lights and ADA ramps and landscaping and trees and new crosswalks and signals. And we're focused on that. And we're going to finish the Eastern Gate Monument on Temple Boulevard. We have the funding for that, so we'll be engaging in that in the very near future on what that will look like. The Filipino community reaches far and wide, way beyond historic Filipino Town. Westlake to the San Fernando Valley in the 6th and 7th districts, and back to the northeast, LA area of Eagle Rock and Glassell Park, where I live, into the 14th district as well. So, as a co-representative of the Filipino American community, I welcome our colleague Jose Huizar to say a few words.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Councilmember O'Farrell. Mabuhay, and it's great to be here. Mabuhay. Mabuhay. And it's great to be here once again to recognize Filipino American History Month. As we all know, we celebrate this month to acknowledge the contributions of Filipinos to our city, but not only that, we celebrate the diversity at the same time of this great city. I represent Eagle Rock and a portion of Glassell Park, as Councilmember O'Farrell mentioned, and it's been we're a neighborhood where we welcome people from all backgrounds. And today it is one of the largest populations of Filipino Americans in Los Angeles, and we're very, very proud of that. Here for this month, we want to acknowledge the honorees, and I'm very proud to acknowledge and present a good friend, someone who you've all met and certified to be on our commissions many, many times, and an individual who has shown us what it means to persevere, that really characterizes the character of the Filipino American people here in Los Angeles. I would like to recognize and honor a lifelong resident of Northeast Los Angeles, Commissioner Teresa De Vera. Since 2005, Teresa has served as a commissioner for Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and for Mayor Eric Garcetti on the Los Angeles City Commission on Disability. Teresa is daughter of Filipino-American parents who migrated to San Francisco in 1969 with $200 and a rice cooker. Today, Teresa is joined by her mother, Ruby De Vera. Is Andy here? Yeah, Andy's here. There he is. With both her parents, Andy and Ruby De Vera, and Ruby served the city with honor and distinction before her retirement from the Los Angeles City Council and her activism in Northeast community. Her father, Andy, has owned and operated one of the largest air conditioning companies in Northeast Los Angeles, and I would like to acknowledge them and congratulate them at this moment for celebrating their 50th anniversary. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations. Teresa represents the ultimate in perseverance and resilience. In 1996, 20-year-old Teresa De Vera was a year away from graduating with a bachelor's degree in political science from LMU. She suffered a severe asthma attack at the time. It left her in a coma. At one point, Teresa was pronounced clinically dead by medical professionals. During her recovery, doctors told Teresa that she won't be able to do a whole host of things, that she would be immobile for the rest of her life. Teresa proved them wrong. Teresa has regained her upper body mobility, her speech, and continues to recuperate. Teresa will not be held back. Teresa attends St. Dominic's Mass with the help of a walker. She surfs at our local beaches, and she works out on a dedicated basis at the 24-Hour Fitness in Glendale. As a commissioner, Teresa has pushed for reforms and new policies that address the issues impacting the disabled. The city is grateful for her 14 years of creating new policies in the area of infrastructure improvements and access to transportation services. Teresa encouraged LAX, the third largest airport in the nation, to install access stands to make it easier for drivers to know exactly where to pick up a rider. Teresa also worked with the Los Angeles Unified School District to reform special education programming. Teresa's ability to overcome the odds, her work as a commissioner and as a community activist is representative of the Bayanihan spirit of the Filipino people. We are happy to celebrate her work and her story here in Council today and acknowledge her for her commitment to improve the lives of others. Her adversity turned into something positive. Her perseverance has made sure that today more and more people living in the city of Los Angeles have access to all its places, no matter what your condition may be. So on behalf of the city of Los Angeles, we want to present this certificate to Teresa De Vera in recognition of Filipino-American History Month.
Mr. O'Farrell, we've got a member on the queue.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
whenever you're ready, just let me know when I can call the members.
After
whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's let Teresa say a few words.
There we go. No. She's going to raise up.
Watch
this.
Okay.
There we go. Watch Yes. this. There we go. Watch out. Hang on. Okay. Now I'm nervous.
You got it.
This is my first time standing before City Council. Actually standing. First and foremost, I want to thank Councilmember Huizar, O'Farrell, and Cedillo
for always having my back. I want to thank LaFace for honoring me with such a distinguished recognition. I'm truly blessed and honored to serve the city in the capacity that I currently do. October is also Disability Awareness Month, so this month has a dual meaning for me. I guess being the first isn't such a bad thing, but for me, it's not so much about being the first to be something. It's about laying the groundwork for everyone who follows me. I believe in inspiring, empowering, and transforming the lives of everyone that I come into contact with, and making this world a little better place than when I was here. There's a quote that says, "People will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And that's why I love serving. I love making a difference in every person's life. Okay, where am I? Okay. So, in my struggles, I found my strength and my voice, and I use my voice to help others find theirs. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you everyone for being here. And I would be remiss to not thank my parents, Ruby and Andy DeVera, who are here, who instilled in me the value and virtue of serving your community. And by the way, it's their 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow. My mom always said, serve with love and the most humbled heart. So from a humbled servant, thank you, City of LA, for allowing me to serve you.
Thank you so much. Can you put the picture of Teresa back up there for a second? So not only is she a pioneer and a game changer, she's also clearly a beauty queen. Look at that face. So congratulations, Teresa. And I'm so honored. I knew Andy and Ruby on their 29th wedding anniversary. That's how long we've known each other. So it's great to have you here and honor you today. Our second honoree is Commander Donald Graham, who couldn't be here because he's at the command center because of the fires and coordinating all of the emergency services for the police department. But I'm going to say a little bit about Commander Donald Graham. Joined LAPD in 1995. He promoted to sergeant in 2006 and to lieutenant in 2012. As a lieutenant, he served as the West Valley's detective commanding officer. Upon his promotion to captain in 2014, he was appointed as the Central Area Patrol commanding officer. During his time at Central Area, he was part of the architect team that revamped the Safer Cities initiative in Skid Row to the Resources Enhancement Services team, RESET, creating a template for the citywide creation of the HOPE teams. In February of 2017, he was appointed as the commanding officer of North Hollywood area. With his promotion to commander, Commander Graham is assigned to the Office of Operations and serves as the department's homeless coordinator. With his appointment, Commander Graham made history by becoming the first Filipino-American commanding officer in the LAPD's 150-year history. So, Commander, sorry you couldn't be here, but we're honoring you, and we're so grateful to have your service. So we'll move right along to our third honoree, which is Chef Charles Olalia, owner of Ma'am Sir in Silver Lake. Born in the Philippines as one of 7 children to physician parents, young Charles Olalia showed a passion for enjoying the feasts that their family cooked. Chichi, which they would prepare for their family. After finishing his biology degree and on his way to becoming a doctor himself, his passion for food led him to choose a different path, and he attended culinary school instead. In 2018, he partnered with Russell Maliksi and Wade McElroy to open up Ma'am Sir, a restaurant and bar on Sunset Boulevard in the 13th District. Ma'am Sir, in short order, has become a very popular local favorite for great, delicious, Filipino-inspired food and drink. While the global Filipino food movement is taking shape all over the world, Los Angeles local Filipino-American food scene has definitely been established as a premier chef choosing to focus on highlighting and lifting Filipino food to its next evolution. Chef Charles Olalia is helping lead the way for Filipino Americans in Los Angeles to enjoy the flavors of home outside of their home while socializing with their friends and sharing the food they've loved with all the rest of us. So without further ado, Chef Charles Olalia. Thank you, sir. And there you go. You get one of these beautiful certificates. Yes. Take some pics.
Thank you.
Please say a few words.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Good
morning, everybody. Thank you so much. City of LA, it's an honor to cook Filipino food in this city. Please come see us anytime. I'm there waiting for you and can't wait to cook for everybody.
We'll see you there for sure. Thank you so much, Charles. This year's National Filipino American History Month is the theme across the country is Pinay Visionaries. Celebrating Filipina American women recognizes the vital but underreported role of PhilAms in U.S. history, especially their work in public office. As you may see, we are surrounded by proud PhilAm commissioners and dedicated public servants representing our city. To say a few words, one of the most elevated of all is our own Public Works Commissioner, Jessica Caloza, to say a few words. Ms. Caloza.
Hi, good morning. It's always nice to be in front of City Council and our city family. Well, first and foremost, just want to greet everybody again. Happy Filipino American History Month, or as the council member noted, it's actually, the theme this month is actually Pinay Visionaries. So I'm so excited to be here on behalf of everybody and on behalf of the Board of Public Works. And thank you to Councilman O'Farrell and to Councilman Huizar for leading today's presentation. The earliest Filipinos actually first arrived in California in Morro Bay in the 16th century and have long played a critical role in shaping what America is today, especially right here in our beautiful city of Los Angeles. A common unknown fact about LA's origin story is actually one of the original pobladores. It was actually Filipino. And so from the beginning, as I like to quote the mayor, is that the city of LA has long been one of the great Filipino cities that we've seen in the world. And in fact, LA boasts the largest population of Filipino Americans outside of the Philippines. And so today is especially proud for us to be here today and to celebrate this month and the contributions that Filipino Americans have made to the city in public service, in the private sector, in our nonprofit community. And we're so especially proud today of our 3 honorees. Commissioner Teresa De Vera, who is not only the first Filipina on the Department of Disability, but she's also the president. And so I'm so proud to call you my friend, and you are such a fearless advocate and truly a Pinay visionary, and we're so proud of you. And to our two other honorees, Commander Graham, who couldn't be here today due to being at the Emergency Operations Center, as well as Chef Charles Alalia. Thank you for, who's a little camera shy today. Thank you for all your work in the community, for feeding our bellies, and just for having such big hearts for the work that you do. So thank you all so much for honoring this very special month for the Filipino American community. Thank you again to City Council for having us here today. Maraming salamat and mabuhay. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner Colosa. We would like to acknowledge the Los Angeles Filipino American City employees, otherwise known, the organization is known as LaFace. LaFace lives up to their mission to foster the advancement of Filipinos and other minorities in city service, leadership seminars, employment outreach, and various other cultural events and educational presentations. LaFace truly continues to enrich the cultural and social fabric of Los Angeles, and to say a few words is the LaFace President, Joanna Alexandria Tago.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here. I want to first state some statistics. Census 2020 is coming up next year, and we just have an update for the current year, 2019. So the USA currently has over 4 million Filipinos across the nation. California has over 1.6 million Filipinos. LA County has 342,000, almost 343. But LA City itself has over close to 140,000 Filipino Americans. So that's quite a lot of us. And I really thank you for the privilege of being able to honor such outstanding members of the Filipino community in Los Angeles. As the council member said, it is our mission at LaFace to not only foster the advancement and promotion of Filipino Americans in city service, but it is also our mission to promote Filipino culture in the various aspects of life here in Los Angeles. This year's FONS, Filipino American History National Society's theme, is about Filipina visionaries and those that are leading with their heart and their passion. And we see that today in Ms. Teresa De Vera, with Ms. Jessica Colosa, Commissioner Jessica Colosa, and Commissioner Susana Reyes, and a lot of other Filipina commissioners in the city of Los Angeles. Today's honorees are visionaries and also our local heroes in the way that they do their daily work and their passion for the community that they serve. Whether it's ensuring that our disabled communities have access to transportation and have a voice in how our community is planned, or the safety of our community and ensuring trust in law enforcement officials, or by advancing cuisine to the next level and sharing food to a wider audience, thereby bringing people together. Their commitment to excellence shows, and thank you for being an inspiration to countless other Filipino Americans who are today so lucky to be seeing such a great Filipino-American history in action. Filipino-American history is still being made on a daily basis. So more power to you, and may many others follow your light in their own paths, and for bringing Filipino Americans in LA and in the US. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan, and thanks for stepping up on your free time to be president of LaFace. It's an incredible organization. And with that, Madam President, members would like to say a few words?
Mr. Cedillo on the queue. Mr. Cedillo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just would be remiss if not mentioning that in my office, every month is Filipino Recognition Month. In fact, it's often referred to as the Filipino Workers Center, is what my office is called. And they say that because of the tremendous amount of Filipino leadership that's been developed in my office. There's a professor in the university, Marissa Abrajano, a young professor, and she worked in my office. There's Lindsay Hervacio, who's also very prominent in the community, and everybody knows her. But there's also Eduardo Soriano Hewitt, who's now assisting Councilman Huizar. Gerald Gubatan, one of the longest persons in the planning department, is with my office, as well as the longest, most consistent employee of my office, Mel Ilomen, who was with my office the first day that I was elected back in 1998. Of course, my Deputy Chief of Staff, who makes a tremendous commitment to my office. Each week he comes up from San Diego and provides leadership and training, referred to in many instances as one of the godfathers of Filipino politics. My Deputy Chief of Staff, Tony Racasa, is in my office. And so you can understand the deep affinity that my office has for the Filipino community. And it began in a very substantive way, because when Gray Davis was elected, it created a tremendous opportunity for us to move forward. Now, I had learned at UCLA about the role of the Filipino veterans in World War II. And I learned that they were invited to put down their flag and join and fight in World War II, the broad united front against fascism, and that they joined us under MacArthur's leadership, and literally hundreds of thousands of young Filipino men joined our army to fight against fascism. And when they were asked to put down their flag and join the United Front, they were promised benefits, veterans benefits, that all Filipinos would get, that all veterans of the World War II would get, that they would also receive those benefits. But as happens too often, that promise was not fulfilled. Now, of course, in the 40s and the 50s, benefits for retirement meant little to a young population. In the 60s, people began to think about it, 70s. In the 90s, they were searching for acknowledgement and for those benefits. And it wasn't until the year 2000 that California, as it does in many instances, led the way and created legislation AB 1983 for Filipino veterans benefits. Now, the population, unfortunately, is much smaller. Just a handful of thousands of veterans remain. But they are able to live in dignity. They receive their benefits. They're able to go back home and to continue to receive those benefits. And so I'm proud to be the author of that, but I'm only the author of that because of the richness of the Filipino population that works in my office and their leadership and their guidance in terms of shepherding this legislation and all the work that we do for the Filipino community. It's been an honor to serve your community for the last 2 decades, both as your senator, your state rep, and now as your council member. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cedillo. Back to you, Mr. O'Farrell.
Thank you. So in closing, I hope everyone will join us in giving a round of applause to our pioneering honorees as we recognize October 2019 as Filipino American History Month, and as our colleague Jose Huizar just said in his remarks about the diversity of Los Angeles. The future is diversity, and the future is now. And the Filipino American community exemplifies that as well as anyone. So I couldn't be more privileged and honored to co-present this presentation today. Thank you so much, and maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Farrell.
A great accent.
I get coached. Thank you.
Okay, members, I'm going to go back to general public comment. If you hear your name, please come up to the podium. Carmina Calderon, are you here? You want to come on up? Melissa Uribe? Antonia Ramirez, are you still here, Ms. Ramirez? Herman and Wayne Spindler, they signed up, but I know they can't be here. How about Mike Greenspan? Are you here, Mike? Okay, why don't you come on up, Carmina? You have 1 minute of general public comment. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Carmina Calderon. I am a community organizer with the East LA Community Corporation. I'm here to support an immediate moratorium on no-cause evictions and expand just cause eviction protections for all of the city's renters. However, everyday families are one rent increase away from ending up on the street. We have folks coming through our doors seeking help every day. Let's push to fast-track rental assistance for folks like these, please. These families cannot wait. And also, I just want to say, also as a Filipino-American, I'm Salvadoran and Filipino. I grew up in East Hollywood, right next to historic Filipino town and Silver Lake. And historic Filipino town is fighting to stay Filipino, by the way. A lot of Filipino families are being displaced. So let's fight for that fast track of rental assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa?
Hello, my name is Melissa Uribe. I'm a community organizer also with the East LA Community Corporation. And like my compañera said, we get tons of people coming into our offices with 60-day notices, with rent increases in the hundreds. And how do you expect people to pay that? How do you expect people to pay that and stay in their homes, keep the community cohesiveness, the social, cultural, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So we get those countless walk-ins with rent increases. We need a comprehensive rental assistance program now. The city's falling behind. The county is leading in tenant protections, so you all need to get with the program. We need to expand just cause for all, and we need a moratorium now for no-fault evictions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Mike Greenspan.
Mike Greenspan, a 6-0 Florida Gator, UCLA. I don't. Well, let me recognize the other guys across town. The dude in the dress, Tommy Trojan. He's going to have his dress torn up so bad by the Fighting Irish tomorrow, he's going to have to go to Bloomingdale's and buy another one. But let me talk about the waste of our taxpayer dollars that could be going to homeless support services, and that's UCLA football. I've got a new nickname for the team, the Chickens. Bark, 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 because they're chicken to come down to the swamp and play the Gators. And that's why they've earned that name. I mean, these conference bitches of a cupcake conference.
This is really not in the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. No, you're really not.
Talking about our tax dollars. And the football team sucks a dick just like you, Fauble.
Mr. Hold on for just a second. Ms. Ramirez, hold on for just, let me call a couple of more speakers. Harold Welton, are you here? You want to come on up? Leon Jordan? Thank you. Leon Jordan? Kaylin Quackenbush? Is she here? All right, Ms. Ramirez, go ahead.
You. Ladies and gentlemen, here in LA, the Safe Haven Sanctuary, we have an epidemic in high crimes involving fucking criminal Latino chango wetbacks and gangbangers, white trash junkies, skid row niggers, and other bullying pimps and gang stalking niggers. The majority of the homeless males are trannies, bisexuals, lesbos, and faggots who are racist hate mongers and prey on homeless women by beating, robbing, and urinating on them. We are asking the public to please not fund nor donate any money to all black organizations. They are toxic urban blight. They are also arming these militant, violent niggers who think that they are above the law and sending them to communities to commit an array of crimes, domestic terrorism, and terrorizing the residents, such as at Little Tokyo, La Placita, Chinatown, Glendale, and these fucking terrorist niggers, male and female, go and harass and rob and steal and destroy innocent victims and homeless women, and particularly all around. God bless
Thank
America.
you, Ms. Ramirez. Your time is up. Hold on for just a second, Mr. Walton. Hold on for just a second, sir.
I want to say,
Mr. Walton, can you hold on for just a second?
What'd you say?
Hold on for just a second. Mr. Bonin? Okay. Sorry about that, Mr. Walton. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Ms.
one
Ramirez,
Greeting,
Ms.
council member.
Ramirez, you're disrupting this meeting. Ms. Ramirez, can you please escort Ms. Ramirez out the building, please? She's interrupting our meeting. Ms. Ramirez?
Ms. Ramirez, you've been
Ms.
warned,
Ramirez,
asked to leave,
can you
and
please ask her
ordered
to
out.
leave?
Ms. Ramirez, you've been disrupting the meeting. You've been ordered to leave. Please go.
Sorry about that, Mr. Walton. Go ahead.
We get pretty brave when we at the city hall, don't we? I want to speak on behalf of the Afiba Center. I want to talk about Jabari. Jabari is very conscious about the center in terms of the cleanliness, the structure, the painting. It is immaculate. All due respects, Jabari, you get on my nerves sometimes. When I come into the center, you drop a piece of whatever, and he wants you to get on it right away. He's very neat. The building is very clean. The myth that the building is not being taken care of is a myth. Folks should come down to the center and look at that center. And that is the People's Center. The people have a place to come and work within the democracy of this system. And I want to thank you for letting me have some time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name's Leon Jordan, and I would like to say I'm in 100% support of the Afiba Center, left as is, and I want to thank you.
Caitlin, are you here? Hold on for just a second. Let me call a couple more speakers. Elena Pop. Chancela Almanzor, are you here? Chancela? She left. How about Sabrina Johnson? Go ahead, Caitlin.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Quackenbush, and I'm a research associate with Strategic Actions for a Just Economy, SAGE, in South LA. I'm here today to ask the City Council to pass universal just cause. This is long overdue, and there are no legal limitations from Costa-Hawkins. We need to take action now. I'm also here to ask for a moratorium on all evictions until 1482 is implemented in order to prevent unjust evictions by landlords who are seeking to preempt 1482 by evicting their tenants, raising rents, and as a result, rendering hundreds of Angelenos homeless today. Thank you.
Hello, Elena. Go ahead.
My name is Elena Pop. I'm the executive director of the Eviction Defense Network. We counsel 5,000 people a year on eviction prevention and represent up to 2,100 a year in evictions. Since the LA Times article came out last week that the governor planned to sign 1482, at the 3 clinics that happened after that article, we saw 15, 16, and last 9, 36 buildings, not tenants, but buildings with 60-day notices, all of them 1482 eligible. What is happening is that AGLA and Dennis Block are sending out emails, and I get them because I'm a small landlord, telling landlords to circumvent 1482 by serving 60-day notices no cause. There is no limitation on Costa-Hawkins for passing universal just cause, but as a minimum, immediately you must protect all units that are protected by 1482 that have not been finally adjudicated. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Sabrina Johnson. I'm with K-Town for All and LA Tenants Union. I concur with what both of the speakers before me just said. With the Tenants Union, just my local chapter has seen 7 new buildings in crisis this week. People who live in the building, in a residential commercial building, who have their family business that's been there for 25 years on the ground floor at Normandy, Adirondack actually, and they live above it. The family lives above it, and they have a small child. And so they're gonna lose not only their home, but also their livelihood. And at the moment, there's no protection for them, no relocation assistance, and we're seeing this happen all over. So we really need some sort of emergency measure to stop evictions, at least until AB 1482 takes place. But even then after, we need more than just 1 month's relocation assistance as 1482 provides. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. So that concludes speakers for general public comments. So we're going to go ahead and close that. Mr. Clerk, what's before us?
Madam President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
Posted and referred members, are there any announcements? Mr. Weezer, I think he had Mr. O'Farrell.
Yes, I just want to invite everyone to a screening of the film classic To Sir with Love, starring Sidney Poitier, at my Echo Park summer series. It's the last film of the season. It's tomorrow night at Echo Park Lake at sunset. And then on Sunday, we're celebrating the second annual Indigenous Peoples Day in the city of Los Angeles on the steps of City Hall, right out front here of City Hall and into Grand Park, which is the ancestral homeland of the first peoples, the Tongva. And it's our second annual. It's a free concert with incredible international talent, a tribe called Red, Redbone, X, a lot of local talent as well, Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas, PJ Vegas. It's going to be a great celebration of Native American culture, and everyone is invited to come and enjoy. Thank you.
Mr. O'Farrell. Are there any other announcements? Mr. Weezer? Mr. Weezer, you have an announcement, sir?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. It's bittersweet today that we say goodbye to a long-term staffer in Council District 14. Rocio Hernandez has been with our office for 11, 12, 13, 14, 11 years. Oh. She is a native from Boyle Heights, went to the local schools at Roosevelt High School, went on to Brown University and came back, and she wanted to serve her community. We took her on as an intern, and she quickly became a field rep, and now she has leaving Council District 14 as the district director for Council District 14. Enough cannot be said about Rocio. She is someone that has served her job with compassion, with passion, with purpose, and it shows in her everyday work how much she cares about the community, a community where she grew up. We went to some of the same schools, right? Euclid, Stevenson or Hollenbeck? Stevenson. I got expelled from Stevenson, but in 7th grade. But we at Council District 14 are all here to say goodbye to her on her last day because we will truly miss her. She did so much in the community, and not only that, but some of the events that Council District 14 has sponsored at El Grito. She helped out with Night on Broadway, and recently we had a monument unveiling for the Braceros that she was in charge of, and it came off spectacularly. She is not leaving the city family, so her skills, her knowledge that she has built up in serving the community will continue to go to use. She is going over to Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez's office as her district director. But let us here at Council District 14 just wanted to acknowledge your hard work and thank you publicly for your commitment. We are truly going to miss you. And I could honestly say that you have been one of the best CD14 employees ever, not only when I've been in office, but ever. It showed in your work. Congratulations, Rocio, on your new job at Councilwoman Rodriguez's office, and we're going to miss you. Congratulations.
Any other announcements, members? Not seeing any. Why don't we all rise for adjourning motions? We could all rise. I'm looking to my right, Ms. Martinez.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I'd like to adjourn in the memory of a beloved music icon, Jose Jose. Jose Jose died September 28th from complications of pancreatic cancer at the age of 71. One of the most recognized voices in Mexican music, he was known as El Príncipe de la Canción. His resonant voice struck powerful chords with millions of Mexicans and millions more around the world. Born Jose Romulo Sosas Ortiz in Mexico City in 1948 to Jose Sosas Esquivel, an opera tenor at the National Opera of Mexico, and Margarita Ortiz Pensado, a concert pianist, so music was definitely in Jose Jose's blood. He started performing at a very young age, playing music in small clubs and shows with local bands in and around Mexico City. While his father was not always supportive of his musical dreams and died when Jose was 17 years old, he was inspired and took on Jose's second name, stage name, in honor of his dad. The performer added the second Jose to his name and attributed to his voice and attributed to his talent to his father, who had passed away at an early age. Jose Jose was a famous performer of El Triste at a singing competition in 1970, which put him on the map. He captivated millions with his incredible performance that won the hearts of those in person and watching him on television. At the age of 22, Jose Jose became a massive star overnight. He went on to produce an album every year for 2 decades, which was incredible. He eventually recorded 30 albums in his long career. He surpassed a 1 million album sale for 20 years in a row, making him the most successful singer in Latin America. Jose Jose became so popular that his music and soundtracks were an everyday Mexican life. His voice resonated from radio, TV sets, and stereos across Latin America, even here in the United States. His songs were so popular in non-Spanish speaking countries like Russia, Israel, and Japan. He focused on themes of romantic pain and sorrow in famous songs like El Amor y El Querer, Gavilán y Paloma, y El Dúo were just some of them to name a few. My personal favorite one was El Pasado Pasado, which I often heard with my dad when I was growing up. Jose Jose's music provided solace to people who were going through difficult times in their lives. He influenced countless artists, and his vocal style is emulated by so many singers around the world. Jose Jose was also an actor, appearing in his own semi-autobiography film named after his own songs. His health deteriorated over the recent years, but he never damped, and he always dedicated everything he had to his fans over the last 40 years. For those of you who know him, you would probably watch on TV some of his funeral services, which were held in Miami last week and in Mexico City this week. He's got countless of records and countless of fans throughout the world. This is recognizing one of our generation's artists and beloved icons. He's gone too soon, but Jose Jose's song will live in all of us, and in his spirit will live on forever. May he rest in peace.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I'm looking to my right for other adjourning motions. I'm looking to my left. There appearing to be none. We are adjourned. Have a great weekend, everyone.